318.1 in here.
Approach center maintain 6,500.
We're also going to increase our rate of descent to about 900 feet per minute. So I'll give approach a call. Approach Columbia 3970 Tango, descending out of 11,800 for 11,000.
3970 Tango, 415, 1010 hotel is correct.
Okay, we'll report when we got hotel, expecting the ILS to 10 right.
10 left, First Sierra Hotel.
Okay, 10 left, First Sierra Tango.
3970 Sierra Tango, right. Elliott 243.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and change that approach then, and we're going to select procedure again, and we want to select the approach. He told us the 10 left.
Maintain 6,500 lower altitude and about 7.
Vectors, we'll select vectors now. Load, yeah. And the other thing we need to do is we need to go ahead and put battleground back in our flight plan. And we can do that here or on the ready pad. Let's use the ready pad since it's just so easy. So let's scroll back up here and put Bravo. So now it added battleground back into our flight plan. We'll level at 11,000 here. When we loaded the approach, it actually went ahead and put the frequency of 113 in our nav1. So that's already up there. We no longer have to do that. The only thing we're going to have to do is switch the CDI over from GPS to localizer as we intercept the localizer course. Another thing we want to do to get ourselves set up for the approach is load our decision height. So I'm going to add this time reference stuff.
307 Sierra Tango, turn right, heading 310 vector to final.
Okay, right to 310 vector to final. Okay, so 310, I've got the heading set, selecting heading.
4,000. Down to 4,000, Elliott 243.
So coming back to the barometric minimums, it looks like we are category B. Our decision height is 293. I'm going to round that up to 300 feet, and this is always at feet MSL. And we'll go ahead and turn that on. What that's going to do is it's going to give us a little box here indicating when our decision height, which I've loaded as 300 feet.
And maintain 15,000.
So let's take a peek at what he's doing. It looks like he's giving us vectors to intercept the course, so we're kind of cutting off this Maver here. If he's giving us vectors, why don't we go ahead and just take our CDI and cycle it over to localizer, loc 1.
397 Sierra Tango, descend and maintain 7,000.
7,000, 7 Sierra Tango. Okay, so I'll set my altitude at 7,000. Again, we're going to use a vertical speed to go down and nose down. We're still pretty far out. We're going to keep our speed up. As we start to get a little bit closer, we're going to slow down. And once again, we've got those speed brakes, which are going to help us to slow down and get to manageable speed where we can put our flaps in as we enter the approach. So, descent checklist, fuel selector is set on the fuller tank. That is good. Power settings. Going to leave our mixture, prop, and throttle all where they're at. Our vapor suppression and backup boost pump are off. Taking the ATIS up. Let's get the ATIS frequency 128.35 here.
Okay, temperature 7.7.
3014. Hotel. We can get rid of that. Let's go ahead and put ground frequency in there. We can just go ahead and load that. I can look on my chart here. And it looks like our ground is 121.9. Left to 300. Sierra Tango.
Comma 5799, contact the center 125.8. Have a good day.
Our tower frequency, if we didn't want to take it off the chart here, what we could do is we could go to our waypoint page 1 where it's got airport information for the Portland airport. Let's then go ahead and scroll down to 5,000 for 7 Sierra Tango. And it looks like he wants us to expedite our descent a little bit, so let's go ahead and throw those speed brakes up and then bring just a little bit of power back. That'll help us to get down. Okay, so we're going to go down and load the tower frequency, and it looks like if we are using 10 less, the tower frequency that we want is 118.7. So I've got 118.7 there selected. Now I'm just going to hit enter and load the tower frequency. Next I'll turn the cursor off. So we're on our way down to 5,000 feet. We've got our barometric minimum loaded. We were in the middle of our approach checklist. Our CDI soft heat, our CDI has been cycled over via the soft heat to localizer 1. Our nav aids are tuned and identified, and we need to identify our localizer frequency. Hopefully it's going to do that for us. We're a little far out anyway to do that, so we'll just hold off for a second. Approach course has been set. It's automatically been set for us to 100. Altimeter, we set that to 3014, and our mixture, we're going to stand by on the mixture. So we've completed our approach checklist. We're looking pretty good. We're well ahead of schedule. Everything's set up, which is great. That's the amazing thing about these technologically advanced airplanes. You can load so many things ahead of time, and it actually assists you in loading many of those things. Like I said, it set the ILS course for us. It set the frequency for us. It's going to identify the frequency for it. It's going to make it so the workload that we have to do is much less. The other neat thing is, when flying, our traditional airplanes with a six-pack, you used to have to do a lot during takeoff and a lot at landing. You kind of had two spikes in your graph. If you look at your workload, you had a huge workload at the beginning and a huge workload at the end. What we've done is we've kind of evened that graph all out and made it so we can do a lot of things ahead of time and get ourselves better set up so we're not so rushed in the end. And that's the pilot's dream, to be less rushed when the landing's coming and have more things under control and set up ahead of time. So I'm going to go ahead and put the speed brakes down now. Okay, that indicates 200 feet to go before we start to level off. Okay, now you can see that we're capturing 5,000 feet. Let's take a peek at our outside air temperature before we go into. We've got some clouds up ahead that we're going to be going through. The outside air temperature is 7 degrees Celsius. That's a pretty good indication that it's a nice warm temperature. We should not be picking up any icing.
307 Sierra Tango, contact approach on 126.9er. Have a good day.
126.9er, good day. Okay, so 126.9. Approach Columbia 397 Sierra Tango, 5,000.
Columbia 397 Sierra Tango, Portland, Roger. There's some traffic for you over 1 o'clock and 5 miles southwest, got 5 miles over 4,000.
Okay, we'll be looking for the traffic at 7 Sierra Tango. Okay, so 12 o'clock should be right out in front of us. I've got him right here. Looks like he's slightly below us. He said 4,000, which would make sense, 1,000 feet below us. We'll zoom in just a little bit. That'll give us probably about 4 miles out.
Centurion 96 Mike to 718, 3,000.
And I think there he is. Portland approach 7 Sierra Tango. I got the traffic that passed below us and behind us.
Sierra Tango, Roger. Thank you. I'll go for you about 3 miles.
Roger, low in about 3 miles, 7 Sierra Tango.
Mike, thank you. Columbia 7 Sierra Tango. And turn left heading of 275, so we take 4,000.
Down to 4,000 and left to heading of 275. Oh, down to 4,000? 4000 is set. Okay, we're at 152 right now. Slow down to 150.
Okay, well, that's fine. If you're at 152, that's fine. You can live with the elevator. Short day for the 4 days. It is current temperature and weather. Winds 150 and 6. Visibility 10. Ceiling 600 broken. Ceiling 1100 overcast. For the altimeter 3011.
Okay, so we just got new information, India. We're going to go ahead and adjust our barometric pressure to 3011. So now what you can see is he's got us paralleling our approach course inbound. What he's probably going to do is bring us around and intercept it from the south on a heading maybe of 060, I could guess. Okay, we're approaching our altitude. I'll go ahead and put the speed brakes down as we start to level off. The other neat thing is it looks like our approach course has been identified for us. Flight heading 3007 Sierra Tango. Okay, so right to 300, a little farther.
Okay, so Sierra Tango to right heading 010, descend to maintain 3000.
Down to 3000 and 010 for the heading. Okay, so again, we're going to just put our altitude in there and maintaining our speed. Speed brakes are coming up.
Okay, so Sierra Tango to right heading 090, localizer.
Okay, right to 090 to join the localizer, 7 Sierra Tango. So, now that we have pretty much been cleared to join the localizer, not the approach, I've not been cleared for the approach yet, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select nav. So this way I'm going to fly a heading until my localizer needle comes alive, which it pretty much just did. Now I'm going to fly the localizer. I've not been cleared to descend down yet, so I cannot descend any lower.
Okay, 7 Sierra Tango, you are 6 miles from laser maintain 2,500 to establish localizer period ILS range approach and reduce your final approach speed.
Okay, reducing the final approach speed. Descend and maintain 2,500. Okay, it's going to get a little bumpy here as we're going through the clouds. I like to stick my heading plug up with the heading that I'm flying. 140 to join the localizer, right, that's 2 to 11.
7 Sierra Tango, contact Golden Tower on 118.7, good day.
Okay, going to tower 118.7, Sierra Tango. Golden Tower, Columbia 397 Sierra Tango. And we're on the glide slope and the localizer. Okay, so we've got about 400 feet to go. We're breaking out right here. And if I go ahead and look up, I do see the runway 10 left is in front of us. I'm going to go ahead and reduce a little bit of power. We're right on the glide slope here. We're going to get a call out that we're coming up on our minimum. Speed brakes are up. Okay, so we're just waiting. We're going to trim it out a little bit. Flaps are coming in. 10 left. Okay, our speed brakes can go down. There's our minimum call out, and we still see the runway. We're going to continue this. And we're a little fast, but that's okay when you're coming into a larger airport. It's nice to be a little fast to keep your speed up for the people behind us. Brought the speed brakes back in just to slow us down.
272, runway 10 left position on hold. Position hold 10
Pretty much have the runway land made. Now I'm just going to kind of keep holding it off, working our power out, and we'll just keep holding it right here. Start to apply some braking and slow us down just a little bit. And it looks like we'll make it.
7 Sierra Tango, turn right at Alpha 4, taxi to flight craft this frequency.
Okay, right on Alpha 4, taxi to flight craft with you, Columbia 7 Sierra Tango.